So I worked at Living Classrooms as the social media manager. About me, I'm a sociology major and a marketing minor. I've had like a ton of jobs. At Loyola, I've worked as the athletics marketing intern since freshman year, so done marketing stuff. A fun fact about me is that last summer I moved to Wyoming for a job. And I wrote this when I was 100% doing that again this summer, but my internship just offered me a job for the summer. So I might be doing that. I'm not really sure, but who knows? And then just like to preface, like I don't do social, like this job was like interesting for me because I had to download social media for it. I had deleted it for the past like year and a half. So I felt a little out of the game, but I, got back into it. So we talked about like living classrooms last week, but basically they're disrupting the cycle of poverty through workforce development, education, family and community planning, and health and wellness. So they do this just in their target investment zone, which is the area of East Baltimore. And it does make a difference in a lot of people's lives, more like the individual's lives, rather than like it doesn't make systematic changes. It more just changes individual lives. So the results are definitely real and measurable. Like for example, the Girls Empowerment Mission program increases the girls in the program's chances of going to college by 4 times as their peers who are not in the program. You also, like Leah talked about the workforce development results last year about like how their return to incarceration is like something like 30% lower than the national average. So a big part of living classrooms is it's not just bettering the individual, it's bettering the community as a whole. Because, if the people are better and have better lives, then in turn, like the whole community will be better. So my research project is going to be on how social media can help the obstacles so it's how social media can help nonprofit. And then I'm kind of talking about the obstacles that Living Classrooms particularly has. So Living Classrooms just has a really low budget in a lot of things. So there's not a budget for social media tools. So a lot of organizations that use social media will like promote their posts and they like pay for premium memberships to like Canva or Adobe, but we don't have that in our budget. And they also don't have a high budget in paying their employees. So a lot of the employees are not full-time, a lot of them are part-time, and even a lot of them are volunteers. So just is a little disorganized in that sense of communication between all the employees. It's like such a large organization that a lot of people are working in different offices and working different hours. So like as a social media manager, it was hard for me to contact a lot of the program coordinators and ask what I should be posting. Just because there's like a lot of independence within the programs. A lot of them don't report directly to a boss. So it does just like, it's hard because I couldn't even go to my mentor and be like, can you tell him to respond to me? Because she also has the same issues. So that was like my main issue, was just like it was hard to get content from people. And which is too bad because like the social media, when I post the things, like through my research, I've seen that like it can inform the people who live within the target investment zone. So not everyone's aware of the programs available to them. And then also it can encourage people to donate to the foundation when they're like seeing what is being done. And then also just like increasing brand awareness, because Living Classrooms is such a large foundation that people aren't even aware of like everything that they own. They're all over the city. So like a lot of people will be like, oh, I had no idea that was Living Classrooms. So through social media, like my goal was to like highlight all the different aspects of it. So I did my typical week. So my office has 3 people in it. I share with my internship coordinator and then her boss, who's the vice president of strategic growth. I worked Monday and Wednesdays in the office, and then depending on what was happening within the foundation on Fridays, I would go and try and do like a more hands-on thing, like go to an actual program event and take pictures to gather some content. So I worked from 10 to 2 in the office. The one downside is it was $8 a day to park. So I would pay $8 on Monday and Wednesdays, and then Fridays, sometimes I'd have to pay depending on where the internship, depending on where the activity was. So Mondays for me, I usually would go on this app called Trello that we have, and I would plan out my posts for the week. And then I would also send out an email to all the program coordinators asking for any news or updates. And then I would usually take, like, if it was a nice day out, I would always like take an Instagram story of the office because it's on the water in Fells Point, so it's really pretty. Wednesdays are usually I spend the day making Canva edits. And then I also spend a lot of time on Wednesdays drafting the social media guideline that I've been writing. And depending on the day, like the picture I have is like I made those programs for the Maritime Magic, which is a huge festival that Living Classrooms has in September. So I made those programs to send out to people that they want to sponsorships, and then I had to packet like 250 of them. It took me like 2 hours. It was kind of awful, but I got to sit and look at the water while doing it, so like it was kind of worth it, I guess. But it's like a pretty chill work environment. I kind of just work at my own pace and kind of structure my own thing. So like I've made that structure for myself where Monday I plan, and then on Wednesday I do more of my like writing, my social media guidelines. And on Wednesdays, like when I make edits on Canva, I have to do a lot of research on the program I'm making an edit about. So it depends like how many I make just on how long it takes me. But that's like my typical week. Like this Friday, I'm going to watch like a tree planting. And like last Friday, the 2 Fridays ago, I went to like a soccer game. So it just depends like what's going on. These are some of my highlights of the internship. So on the left here, I got to take me and my friends got to go to the historic ships in the Inner Harbor for free. And I got to do like a live Instagram takeover, which was just fun because it was fun to hang out with my friends for work and like get to go do some tourist things for free because it was usually like $40 to go on all the historic ships. So it was pretty cool that we got to go learn about like Baltimore's naval history. The center picture, and it's still there, there's an art gallery above my office that Living Classrooms has. So it was really cool to like always go up there and look at what they were displaying. And just like this stuff all like relates to like stuff I post on the social media. And then down here's just a picture of my office. I consider that like a highlight because I loved the location. It was like right on the water, right at Fells Point. So it just made me happy to like walk to my office every day. And then on the right is we went to a gala at the Pendry for my job, which was really cool. Got to like dress up and like pretend to be rich, which was cool. So and that was probably my big, I tried caviar for the first time in my life, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, I actually thought it was good. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was nice, but those are just like my highlights. For anyone who's like looking at what internship does, like this internship definitely gives you a lot of pros. Like my favorite pro is probably whenever I go to Fells Point, I get free parking. I get to park in the Living Classrooms has a school that they have. So obviously when I'm at work, I can't park in the parking lot because they're at work. But when I go down on the weekends, I can use the free parking lot and stuff. So like there's a lot of like benefits that they give us because we don't get paid. My mentor is really aware of that. So she makes it that we have like some fun benefits. These are my successes. So this is just like what the feed looks like right now. So I've done all these posts and it's been pretty cool because I didn't know how to use Canva at all before. So I've really gotten comfortable like creating edits and also just like creating captions. Like it used to take me way longer to come up with a caption. Now I can do it in like 5 minutes. So my successes which is pretty cool. I'm the first social media intern that they've had. So I've actually been writing the social media guide that they're going to be using for future interns. So I'm like writing a like tutorial and like a new standard for the foundation. So it's a lot of good experience in using like corporate wording and corporate like formatting. I'm learning a lot in that sense. Another success I had was I helped the marketing team find a website to advertise their job openings, and they were able to get 3 hires from there. So I felt like that was a cool direct thing. I've increased the followers by 200. I've gained 200 active followers during my like 3-month stint on there. I've also like increased engagement with other Baltimore accounts. So part of my daily routine is like going through my whole feed and liking and commenting stupid things like this is exciting, cool. And even just that like will get me a follower, or like that account will then follow me, or they'll make an account, like they'll make a post and tag me and it's something about living classrooms. And one of the things that was cool was the Visit Be More, which is like a magazine. They have an Instagram, and because I've been like commenting and liking all their posts, they DM'd us and asked for pictures of our maritime park space that people get married at, and they're going to feature it in the next magazine. So I thought that was pretty cool because I felt like it was because I contacted them all the time that they like they DM'd and asked, and so now we're being featured in the magazine, which is going to be pretty cool. And then I've also been able to, when I was visiting all the living classroom sites, I noticed that like they didn't have anything advertising their social media. So I told my boss that I'd like to make posters advertising all the accounts. And so now those are being hung up around the city. So that's pretty cool. And then I also like assisted in the creation of the sponsorship packets that are going out to like I was doing the labeling today, like the CEO of Under Armour is getting the packet that I made. So it was pretty cool to be like putting the label on like this Pandora and like all big Baltimore places. And my intellectual and self growth. So sociologically, I felt like I was applying a lot of what I already learned. So like because living classrooms disrupts the cycle of poverty, I felt like a lot of the systematic obstacles we learned in all my sociology classes just gave me a better appreciation for what living classrooms was doing. And I felt like the writing skills that I learned in sociology have really come into play, especially like with work, like just picking the right wording that like, because it is most of the time about sensitive populations. So I felt like I just already had the skills in writing, and they've obviously increased even more in this internship. And then I thought of like sociological insight, because I think if I understand it correctly, it's like understanding that social structures like impact everyone, like each individual person is a product of their own social environment. So their beliefs and interests are catered about that. So it's like I'm posting, our main target right now is posting to people who live in the target investment zone. So just kind of trying to see what they would be interested in, because I obviously come from like a different background. And so understanding what's important to them and what they need. And then I've also picked up on some observation skills just by sharing an office with the vice president of strategic growth. I've gotten to like listen to almost all her meetings that she has on Monday, Wednesday, and that's really helped me understand how she dictates herself. I always feel like I have an awful like diction. I'm like really monotone, and she's kind of just taught me like how to sound assertive, how to sound like enthusiastic, and just like she's very poised. So like even just like listening to her meetings, like I felt like I probably shouldn't have, but I was like totally eavesdropping all the time just because I was like really curious on how like a corporate meeting like that was structured. And then I've also picked up on social media skills and just like kind of using I felt like I was using my sociology brain, like just like looking at other people's posts and seeing how they did it and like what their results were. And then kind of like adapting my own to that. And then obviously I think everyone has this in their internship face work. Like I obviously acted a little different at work than I do like in my normal life, like especially when we were at the gala. Like I don't wear makeup ever, and I had to like put on a gown and like talk yeah, I had to talk like I don't know, I couldn't say the word it was weird, but I use my face work a lot, and that just like not pretending to be someone I wasn't, but just like pretending to be someone I wanted to be. And my self-growth, I feel like my confidence has increased because I started out my internship as a different position, and I almost got like promoted 2 weeks in. They were like, we think your skills can be used in a better place. And I was like given a big responsibility. That's usually a full-time job, but my boss felt like she could trust me to do it. And then I also feel comfortable in an office setting. I've never worked in an office setting and I was nervous about that, but now I have the confidence where when I'm gonna go into a new office job, I kind of understand the culture, because the only exposure I had to that was like the TV show, The Office. So now I'm like, okay, it's kind of that, but like a lot different. Like you are working with other people and it is fun at times, but it is also very serious. Like, so I feel like now I can just do anything I try it, because like I didn't know social media and I totally just like went in blind and totally adapted. So I just feel like good about that. And I've also just gotten a lot of exposure to like corporate policies. Like I've gotten to look at a brand guide, which I'd never seen before. So it's just pretty cool. And just the different organization skills I've learned in planning out my posts. I just feel like I've learned a lot in that aspect. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
I do have one question. You said they offered you a job over the summer?
Yes, yeah.
What was the job?
Oh, I'll be doing the same thing, social media manager for the summer. So I'd be working like 15 hours a week. And I live off campus, so my lease doesn't expire until August. So I already have a place to live. Then I would probably work like part-time somewhere else. I probably have 2 jobs, but I have to figure out my options. But yeah, that's what I would be doing this summer.